Removed Indian flag doormats after External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj took a strong exception to Amazon Canada selling these doormats. Now, Sushma Swaraj had asked the e-retailer to withdraw the products and tender an unconditional apology, failing which no official of Amazon will be granted an Indian visa, and the ones issued earlier will also be rescinded. The minister had also asked the Indian embassy to take up the matter with Amazon Canada.
After External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj's stern warning on social media, Amazon acts swiftly, removes doormats featuring the Indian flag from its Canadian website. In a tweet, Sushma Swaraj had asked Amazon to tender an unconditional apology and withdraw all products insulting the national flag immediately. She had said, if the company does not comply, India will not grant visas to any Amazon official and also revoke the visas issued earlier. The move comes after a Twitter user sent her a screen grab of doormats featuring the flag on sale on Amazon Canada. Sushma Swaraj is famous for her prompt replies on Twitter. She even addresses the issues with great ease and gives guaranteed solutions. And today, she has 70 lakh followers on Twitter. Bureau Report, DD News.
The Indian government lashes out at Amazon.com over doormats. Take a look. The online retail giant quickly removed these doormats featuring the image of the Indian flag from its Canadian website after the product caused uproar throughout the South Asian country. The backlash started on January 3rd when Ratnesh Mishra posted a photo of the product on Facebook and tagged India's Prime Minister, the ruling party, and Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj. About a week later, on Wednesday, January 11th, Swaraj spoke out on Twitter, demanding an apology and threatening to both deny granting an Indian visa to any Amazon official and rescind any visas that had previously been issued. India's flag code prohibits citizens from allowing the national flag to touch the ground. Not only that, but touching something with one's feet is seen as a huge sign of disrespect. Later on Wednesday, Amazon officials confirmed the product was no longer on its site. For Newsbeat Social, I'm Caitlin Mangum.
Peace. This is James, Chairman, CEO, and founder of Pan African Designs. Peace to the family. How's everybody doing? This is going to be a show that we're going to have to deal with a particular issue that has arisen in the community, dealing with the desecration of the Pan-African flag and actually disrespect to the actual ancestor that's responsible for the flag, Marcus Garvey, as well as flag protocol. This is not something that I take lightly personally, and I think that it's kind of embarrassing that we have to even address this amongst our own. This is something that's definitely only supposed to be done by an enemy, and not by someone that's supposed to be upholding and venerating our ancestors. And I'm hoping that this was done purely out of ignorance, and that it was not done. To me, I know I'm sure that it wasn't done out of disrespect, and that it was done out of ignorance or total illiteracy in regards to how the flag is supposed to be upheld, and what flag desecration is. This is not to be done to be disrespectful or to say that this to not support this particular business after or in any fashion. This is actually my attempt to maybe educate and maybe bring more people in line with what flag desecration is, and how it's how historically it has been done in its origins. So with that said, what I'm going to do is actually go through a couple of slides. I'm going to make this really brief, and then I may have a little commentary after on my personal thoughts about this, and hopefully at the end of this we can gain some clarity and gain a standard of understanding that this is not something that we're supposed to do for our particular for our imagery, so to speak. I mean, or to our flag, or to something that represents us. So let me go ahead and get into this, man, and get this moving. So as you can see, the title is a history lesson in flag desecration and the protocol. Not saying that I'm some kind of a genius. I'm only here to bring light to from a historical standpoint, from what I know as a male. This is something that maybe it's more disrespectful for us, because men have understood this code even from a street perspective, which a lot of people try to be disrespectful to what we all come from, which is ignorance. So we don't definitely want to demonize anybody that's unaware of what's supposed to be standard in the community. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into these slides and get this going. So hold on a second, get it, make sure I got functioning right. So this slide right here, I know it's very small, y'all can't see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the actual page and read this. What you see, this arrow that's very small, and I may leave a link to this from the actual dictionary Wikipedia where I got this from, which is just the basic flag desecration standard rules that have been established. I'm actually going to take you back to the origins of putting someone underfoot, or what that actually means, and where this comes from. And it's actually an African thought, so it's definitely not a European thought. They only copy everything that we do. They didn't even have a writing or a structure to even be able to gain an understanding until we taught them. So let's go ahead and get into this. Let me read this real quick, and then we're going to move on. Because that's a couple of slides I want to go to. But this is just a background piece on this, so y'all bear with me. I may stop and maybe even do a little commentating on this part. So here we go. So this is flag desecration. This is the definition of it and what it means from a dictionary standpoint. It says actions that may be treated as flag desecration include burning it, urinating or defecating on it, defacing it with slogans, which means writing on it, stepping on it. And that's the first little yellow highlighted thing that you may can see with an arrow. I'm gonna keep moving. Damaging it with stones or guns, cutting or ripping it, verbally assaulting it, or dragging it on the ground. So that's two references to desecration, meaning on the ground. Okay, the next paragraph, flag desecration may be undertaken for a variety of reasons. It may be a protest against a country's foreign policy, including one's own. or the nation or of the government in power there. It may be a protest against nationalism or deliberate and symbolic insult to the people of the country represented by the flag. So when you do this, the flag represents the people. So when you're disrespecting the flag, that's basically saying that that's disrespecting the people. Now, I don't know anyone that's supposed to be uplifting the flag would see this as doing so, if they're using common sense. Also, if you look at the flag desecration that people that uplift the flag does, and vice versa. We see European men disrespecting, shooting the Pan-African flag, burning the Pan-African flag, stepping on the Pan-African flag, and vice versa. But we're never supposed to do that. Now, this doormat and all this other stuff, it just seems to be a capitalistic stance, and the refusal to move the product shows disrespect to those that have tried to bring light to the situation. It's as if the person doesn't respect the people that basically challenged the product. So let me go ahead and keep going so I won't get off topic here. It says it may also be a protest at the very laws prohibiting the act of desecrating a flag. Burning or defacing a flag is a crime in some countries. In countries where it is not, the act may still be prosecuted as disorderly conduct, arson, or if conducted on someone else's property, therefore vandalism. That's interesting because I've never seen this before. So if you go look on Amazon, you will never see the Kenyan flag or any other African nation made as a doormat. That I don't know if I've looked for that, but I may go back and look for that. But I know that when I did do the research on it, most people looked at it as disrespect, and even the American veterans or people in the European Americans see it as disrespect. And rightfully so if that's their particular flag that they're trying to uphold. So with that said, let's keep moving. Using a flag unconventionally, such as hanging it upside down or reverse, may be regarded as desecration. Flying a flag at half mast is considered desecration in Saudi Arabia. In some countries, however, flying a flag upside down is conventional protocol to indicate an emergency or a problem. So they only reason why they would fly their flag upside down is if it was an emergency situation to let people know, or a problem, or to indicate a state of war. Moreover, some flags, such as the flag of Austria, when hung upside down and or reversed, look the same because they are vertically and or horizontally symmetrical, meaning no matter which way you turn it, it's going to still look the same because they look identical. Okay, some countries regard it as desecration to make toilet paper, napkins, doormats, and other such items bearing the image of the flag. See, so when you make a doormat, it is bearing the image of a flag. We have some people that want to play dumb when it's convenient. You know that when you put the red, black, and green together, that's the flag of our people. To either act like you're illiterate to that fact is disrespectful. We're not going to allow people to play dumb anymore when it comes down to when something is as serious as this. Either you're gonna acknowledge the blunder or the mistake, or you can either just don't even have just stay out of the conversation, because we're not going to get anywhere being playing like we're still in school and wanting to be done. We have to start acknowledging when we make a mistake amongst each other, as well as when we're being disrespected by each other. And it's a standard. This is a 7,000-year standard of not desecrating and being dishonorable to our ancestors. And this is definitely what this is. Whether you want to change the name to be semantic and change the name to a kneeling altar, you have already let us know that it's a doormat. So either you just don't respect us as individuals, or you think that you're superior to our history and those that have come before you. And that's not a really good look. But anyway, so let me finish off this last paragraph, and then we're going to go into some slides, and then I'm going to end it. So that's, so let me end that. So let me go read that last one again. Some countries regard it as desecration to make toilet paper, napkins, doormats, and other such items bearing the image of the flag, so that the flag's image will be destroyed or soiled. It is, however, increasingly common in some countries to see clothing in the image of the flag forming a substantial part of the piece. Views vary as to whether some of this is an act of national pride or disrespect. Okay, so I'm through reading. So with that said, we got a clear understanding of what desecration of a flag is in 2019 or 7,724, whichever date you want to take. I'd rather prefer the later. Now let me go to the next slide. Let me make sure I do this right. So the next slide is of a Nubian queen. Don't know how to pronounce her name, but this is some of the origins. And I wanted to start out with a queen because the person that's responsible for this is a queen, and she's a sister. So to let her know that this is not just something that's a male thing, this is something that was universally understood by our people for over 7,000 years. You always keep your enemy underfoot, and you always uphold your ancestors and your people above you. You uplift your people, and you suppress your enemy. That is natural law. This is not something that I'm making up. This is just the way it is. This is the queen from Nubia. I want to be correct in that she's actually from Kush. Nubia is Roman and Greek term. Nubia is something that they termed. We always called it Punt, Kush, Kemet, or something of that nature. But this is, as you can see on this picture, you can see the queen has her sword, and she has the enemy by the hair and in a kneeling position. You see the lion coming in to devour them as well. And you can see a lion right there. And and it's very important for this particular person maybe to see this. That's why I want to make sure that it's very respectful, because she's an artist. Without this art, she wouldn't even be able to do the things that she does doing now. So we created art, and this is how we depicted ourselves. We depicted ourselves in a victorious stance, or always trying to depict ourselves as in a ruling setting, not in a defeated setting. So this is the queen, and this is something that I wanted to start out with, but we're going to move forward with the next slide. This is actually from an Asut, or what we would call a king from Kemet, which is known as Egypt. And as you can see, he has his enemies underfoot. This is the standard protocol of how you display your enemy. You always display your enemy underfoot, and you display your ancestors or someone that you want to revere and uphold above you. So this is the natural way that we have always done this. The arrows are something that I added in so you can see, kind of point to what I'm showing. So let's keep it moving, because I want to make sure I'm going to go ahead and end this really shortly. Here's another Nasut, which is the king with enemy underfoot. You see he has a bunch of his enemies underfoot. As you see, he's actually in battle with other enemies, but he already has the one that he's defeated underfoot. We always show our enemies underfoot, never our ancestors. Here's another piece that I'm going to have to go in and read. But this is actually, it'll show you, and then and it'll show you the origins that they took this and put it in the Bible for some whatever reason. But we're going to show the origins of what that is. Let me slide over here and read that so that we can make sure we do this the right way. So this is Amenhotep II as a child in the garden of Pernefer, the tomb of Kenamun, Valley of the Nobles in Luxor. Young Amenhotep II sits at the lap of his nurse, Imhotep, mother of Kenamun, and with attendants before them. Note that Amenhotep II's feet are on the footstool with a representation of Egyptian enemies, illustrating Psalms 101, section 1. And this is in the Bible. The Lord says to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet. So what they're saying is this is where the European, or you could call the Jews or the Hebrews, got their information from. Maybe I should read. That was the biblical inscription. What I just read from Psalms 101, section 1, or however you want to pronounce that. But maybe I should read this at the bottom. It says, during the 15th dynasty, 1663 through 1555 BCE, Egyptians was ruled by Hyksos, foreign rulers from southern Canaan, who had their capital in whatever this is. After the native Egyptians overthrew the Hyksos and drove them back to Canaan, Avaris was taken over by the Egyptians and renamed Pernefer. The tomb of Kenamun in the Valley of the Nobles, number TT93, which is showing you where you can go find this at, puts us in touch with individuals associated with Pernefer and the Nasut of the Exodus. See, this is all BS because they're talking like as if the Exodus of the Hebrews was real. So I'm gonna quit reading this because this is all trying to validate the Bible, which we already know is fiction. So let me go ahead and but these images and the location of this tomb is real. What they talking about with the Bible, I'm gonna skip over that. But anyway, but here is the enlarged picture of that same image that was up in the square. I just showed the text, but I enlarged it so people can get a better image that shows the enemy bound and tied and in a defeated position with his feet on their heads. So you never put your ancestors in that position. That's disrespectful. Okay, now this is an actual piece of documentation that I want to bring out just to show that this is the one of the oldest Nasuts, which means king, King Narmer. He's one of the first from the first dynasty. So it'll show that I'm not just talking about something in late dynasty like they want there, like a lot of people would like to say. But King Narmer was called one of the first, maybe if not the first, ruler of both lands, meaning Upper and Lower Kemet. This is Narmer's palace. It says the palace of King Narmer, 3000 BCE to 2920 BCE, pre-dynastic period. If you look to the arrows and look on the bottom of the inscription, if you can see it, it says slain enemies. This is where you put your enemies at. As you can see on the left, on the first, this is the front of the palette. You will see King Narmer standing with his mace, and he has the enemy in a kneeling position on knee, and he's getting ready to strike him with the mace and kill him. On the back side of the mace, you'll see where I have the red arrow, and that's the same thing. That's him, but that's just him in bull form. A lot of the time they would paint the king or the Nasut as a black bull, and that's him trampling the enemy. Notice the enemy is still a foot or a hoof of the king, even if he's in bull form. So let's move forward. Trying to make sure that this is not really lengthy. Okay, this is the same image again. That's just a drawn out. Hopefully y'all can get a better image of it. And I'm just showing the same thing, the consistency. Y'all look, this is the same way that the queen had the she had the enemy down a foot. And you see they look a European statue. You know, I try to keep it to that, but even though Nubia was sometimes we fought as well, you know, but Europeans fight each other too. But okay, here's another king, not sure what their names are, but he's again, they're showing on the foot. I'm just showing the consistency. Trying to move this along. This is a drawing. So the first one is shown. This first one is showing the actual stone meta-nature, shown in meta-nature with the writing, the actual stone, the glyph or whatever you want to call it, and then this is the actual the recreation, you know, that people do. Here's another stone drawing that's showing showing the enemies up under hoof and foot. I'm always showing them in a down position. We're showing us up, renovating, and showing us in a stronger position as Africans. Here again is the recreation in drawn form. You see they got the European colors showing them the horses is trampling the Hyksos, which is who these people would be. And then you see him hitting them over the head with the whatever weapon he had, the sword or whatever, the sickle. And that's just the consistency of it. So we've been doing this for 7,000 years. It's not a personal attack to you, Queen. I know we have our personal differences, but you got to do the right thing on this. You know, I got a brand too, and I'm not trying to damage you, but I mean, you have to do the right thing. I've bought products before, and I just didn't deem them I didn't deem them up standard for our people, and I just kept them. You know, it cost me hundreds of dollars sometimes, but it's a mistake on me. I should have vetted the product better, or the people that I was purchasing from. This is just a historical blunder on your part. I guess you didn't know, but you definitely have to be honorable. This is another image I'm going to show again of them showing. This is the the Syrians or whatever, but they learned that same practice from us because we started drawing this first. And this is them copying what we did and showing them putting enemy underfoot. So again, you would never want to show Marcus Garvey in this position, even if he's dead. You don't want to put something that people can walk on and put their dirty feet on. You changing it to an altar, I think that's disrespectful as well. But it is what it is. I don't think you respect people that don't have a master's degree or something like you have. But some people know things that you're not aware of. That's not a slight at you, and I think it's great that you have your degrees or whatever. But also, you can't be disrespectful to people that don't have a degree that may know something about something that you're not aware of. With that said, I'm gonna go ahead and end this. I hope it's not too windy. I wasn't too winded with this, but I definitely wanted to touch on this because I think that it's very important for us to, you know, not display our flag and our ancestral imagery in a disrespectful manner. With that said, I'm out of here until the next time, and I'll be doing a show here coming up soon, dealing with Facebook and our shop over there, as well as some more topics in a more uplifting type of topics instead of something that's, you know, just coming to you with some drama, as this seems to be. With that said, again, peace, much love to the family, and I'm out.